ladies and gentlemen. Most people think they know what love looks like: roses, texts, constant attention. But what if I told you that the real signs a man wants you badly have nothing to do with any of that? Imagine this. You're standing in a room full of people, yet there's one man whose silence speaks louder than everyone else's words. What is he doing differently? Why does it feel like he's seeing a future that hasn't even started yet? Now, before we jump to conclusions, no, he's not just being nice or friendly or polite like your mom warned you about back in high school. There's a deeper reason, a primal motivation behind his every move, and if you don't recognize it in time, you might just overlook the one man who's actually all in. The question is, are you watching closely enough, or are you about to miss the moment that changes everything? When a man truly wants you badly, one of the most powerful signs isn't how often he says he loves you or how many gifts he showers you with, it's how willingly he chooses your happiness over his own convenience. That's where real commitment begins. Love isn't found in grand gestures or poetic lines. It's in the quiet decisions made when no one's watching. When a man starts showing up for you, even when it's hard, when he adjusts his schedule, sacrifices sleep, or steps out of his comfort zone to support you, that's when his intentions become unmistakably clear. Imagine this. He's had a long, exhausting day, mentally drained, emotionally spent. Maybe all he wants is to lie down, unplug from the world, and recharge in silence. But then he hears in your voice a slight crack, a moment of vulnerability, a whisper of sadness, and suddenly your needs outweigh his fatigue. Not because he's pretending or trying to impress you, but because your well-being has become something sacred to him. Your emotions matter, your smile matters. He realizes that sometimes love means showing up tired, but showing up anyway. This doesn't mean he becomes a doormat or that he neglects his own needs. It means he's learned to stretch his world to make room for yours. And that's rare. Because convenience is addictive, it's easy, it's safe, it demands nothing. But when a man goes beyond what's easy for the sake of your happiness, it reveals a depth of care that's rooted in intention. He's not loving you just for the good times. He's choosing you in the middle of life's chaos. When he wakes up early to drive you to the airport, even if he hates mornings, when he skips out on a night with the guys because you're going through something and just need someone to talk to, when he listens to your dreams and fears with full attention, even when he's got a million things on his mind, he's showing you that you're not just an option, you're a priority. There's a moment in every deep relationship where effort becomes the currency of trust. Words begin to fade into the background, and what stays are the choices we make. If he rearranges his world to make sure you feel safe, heard, and valued, he's doing more than being kind, he's aligning his life with yours. That's no small thing. Many people talk about love, but few back it up with consistent action. Real love demands work, and when a man willingly takes that on, you're not just in his heart, you're in his plan. Think about how often people say, "I'm just too busy." It's the anthem of our age. But busyness is never a barrier for someone who truly cares. He might have deadlines, commitments, responsibilities, but if he's always carving out space for you in the middle of it all, he's sending you a message louder than any romantic poem ever could. You matter. And he's willing to be uncomfortable if it means keeping you close. That kind of love isn't loud or flashy. It's steady, unshakable, and deeply reassuring. You might catch him doing things that seem small on the surface, remembering your favorite coffee, picking up medicine when you're sick, pausing his work to listen to you vent. But these aren't just acts of service, they're quiet declarations of love. He's not being nice, he's being intentional. Because prioritizing your happiness over his convenience doesn't mean he loses himself. It means he's making an empowered choice to build something with you that lasts beyond mood swings and temporary frustrations. He doesn't do it to keep score. He doesn't expect applause. He does it because seeing you happy lights something up in him. Because love for him has become about more than attraction or companionship. It's about contribution. He wants to be a part of your joy, and he's willing to pay the price for it. That's when you know he's not just present, he's invested. There will be times when you test this unintentionally. You'll ask for support at inconvenient hours, or your needs will clash with his plans. And in those moments, his response will tell you everything. If he listens without resentment, if he adapts instead of withdrawing, if he finds solutions instead of excuses, he's showing you that love is his choice, not his obligation. When a man truly desires you with depth and clarity, his effort becomes consistent not just in the early days when emotions run high, but especially when the excitement settles and real connection begins. What sets him apart is not the occasional romantic surprise or the well-timed compliments, but the quiet, steady investment he makes into the relationship without constantly needing praise or acknowledgement. His love doesn't come with a scoreboard. He doesn't keep tally of the things he's done for you to pull them out later like receipts. Instead, he simply shows up over and over again because for him, loving you is a responsibility he embraces, not a task he performs for applause. This kind of effort is rare because we live in a world that often demands instant gratification. Many people want recognition, likes, compliments, validation, some kind of reward for every good deed. But when a man is truly invested in you, his motivation comes from within. He sends that just checking in message not to get a thank you, but because he genuinely wants to know how your day is going. He notices what makes you anxious and gently adjusts his approach without making it a big deal. He pays attention to your smallest likes and dislikes, remembers the little things you mention in passing, and incorporates them into the way he treats you not because he's trying to impress you, but because you've become a part of his inner world. Think of the kind of man who doesn't just show up when it's easy, but also when it's inconvenient. The one who listens fully even when he's had a long day, who's there through the ups and the lows, who keeps showing up even when emotions are messy or misunderstandings arise. This kind of consistency is often invisible to others, but to the woman on the receiving end, it becomes a powerful expression of trust, security, and stability. He's not doing it to be noticed. He's doing it because it aligns with who he is and how he feels about you. When he's truly invested, he doesn't need a standing ovation every time he makes a gesture. He won't guilt you for not noticing. He doesn't lace his kindness with conditions. Instead, he gives because giving makes him feel closer to you. He finds meaning in being reliable, and his loyalty isn't performance-based, it's authentic. He can show affection without announcing it. He can solve problems quietly without making you feel indebted. In his world, effort isn't a negotiation, it's his love language. At times, his actions may go unnoticed, and that's okay with him. Maybe you're overwhelmed or distracted. Maybe you don't realize how much he rearranged to be with you on a stressful day, but he doesn't take it personally. He understands that real connection isn't always about being celebrated, it's about being present. This emotional maturity is the foundation of trust. It reassures you that his love isn't temporary, transactional, or driven by ego. He's not there for validation, he's there for you. And this doesn't mean he suppresses his own needs or never seeks appreciation. It means his effort isn't tied to your reaction. He doesn't retreat the moment he feels unseen. He's secure enough to continue giving even when no one's watching, and that security becomes contagious. You begin to feel safe, knowing that this isn't a performance that will stop when the spotlight fades. His presence becomes predictable in the most comforting way, not because it's boring, but because it's reliable. Over time, these consistent actions build something incredibly strong. They create a bond that doesn't depend on mood or convenience. He texts not because he's afraid of losing you, but because you've become part of his everyday life. He plans for you not because he has to, but because you're now in his future. He listens, supports, celebrates, and sometimes even challenges you all because his love isn't passive, it's active. And it shows up even on days when life feels ordinary. You'll start noticing it in how he remembers important moments without reminders, how he adjusts his behavior based on what you need, how he stands by you even when there's nothing to gain. That's the difference between someone who wants you for a season and someone who wants you for a lifetime. Because consistent effort without the constant need for validation is not just a reflection of deep affection, it's a reflection of deep character. It's a quiet form of love that says, I'm here and I'll keep being here, not because I need applause, but because I believe in what we're building together. When a man truly wants you deeply and authentically, one of the most telling signs is how naturally he includes you in his long-term plans. There's no hesitation in his voice when he speaks of the future, no vague words or evasive answers when the topic shifts to what's coming next. Instead, you find yourself already a part of the roadmap he's creating for his life. It's not dramatic or theatrical, it's intentional. He doesn't drop hints to keep you guessing. He speaks in terms of we, not just me. You're not just part of his present, you're embedded in his vision of what's ahead, and he doesn't flinch when you hear it. This inclusion might come in subtle yet powerful ways. He asks for your opinion when making major life decisions, career moves, relocations, financial goals, not because he's unsure of himself, but because your perspective matters to him. Your presence in his future isn't up for negotiation. It's already assumed. He doesn't worry about whether it's too soon to talk about 5 years down the line. He talks about the house he wants to build, the places he wants to travel, the kind of family he envisions, and your role in all of it. There's no sales pitch behind it, no performance, just quiet confidence that you're part of something meaningful. This isn't about overpromising or dreaming recklessly. It's about the alignment of his actions and his words. If he's applying for jobs in another city, he's asking how that would work for both of you. If he's planning to go back to school, he's considering how it fits into the life you're building together. Even if his plans shift, even if the road gets bumpy, you're still there in the equation. That's the mark of someone who's not keeping their options open they've already chosen, and they're building everything with that choice in mind. What makes this even more significant is the emotional safety it creates. You're no longer questioning where you stand. You're no longer decoding messages or waiting for signs. You feel seen, valued, and secure. Because when a man sees you in his future without needing to be asked, he's not just showing desire, he's showing direction. That kind of certainty is rare in a world where so many relationships are defined by ambiguity. He removes the guesswork, not by making big promises, but by treating your presence in his future as natural and non-negotiable. His long-term thinking isn't limited to romantic dreams either. It's practical. It's grounded. He wants to know how your career goals align, how you see your life evolving, how you both want to grow. He's not intimidated by your ambition or independence. He wants to make room for it. He's willing to bend, adjust, and adapt not because he lacks a spine, but because he sees partnership as a shared evolution. This is someone who doesn't view the future as a solo mission. He sees love as a team effort, a shared strategy, not a spotlight he hogs for himself. He might talk about future holidays and instinctively include you in the conversation, or mention where he wants to settle down and ask how you feel about it. He might even start putting down roots in ways that only make sense if you're in the picture, changing habits, saving differently, building stability not just for himself, but for both of you. And the beauty is, he's not doing any of this to win you over. He's doing it because, deep down, he's already chosen the direction his heart is moving in, and he's simply making sure his actions reflect that choice. There's something profoundly comforting about this kind of clarity. You stop waiting for validation, stop searching for signs in small talk or body language. Because he makes his intentions known not through grand declarations, but through everyday inclusion. When someone sees you in their future, you'll feel it in the way they talk, the way they plan, the way they live. And when a man includes you without fear or hesitation, without waiting to see if you earn that space, it's a powerful reflection of how fully he sees you as a partner, a co-creator, a vital part of his unfolding story. You begin to notice that even the smallest plans, a trip next month, a family dinner, a move across town, carry your name in them. Not because he's trying to lock you down or move too fast, but because for him, the idea of a future that doesn't include you just doesn't make sense. He's already thought about the seasons ahead and realized they're better with you in them. That's not just romantic, it's intentional, rooted in stability and vision, a love that's not afraid to say, "You belong in what I'm building, and I don't want to do it without you." When a man truly wants you badly, one of the most powerful and profound ways he shows it is by protecting your emotional well-being as if it's his personal mission. This kind of care goes far beyond surface-level affection or textbook romance. It's deep, deliberate, and almost instinctive. He becomes attuned to your emotional landscape, not because he's trying to fix you, but because he genuinely wants you to feel safe, supported, and at peace in his presence. He becomes your emotional anchor, not your storm. His first priority is to understand you, not just your favorite color or how you like your coffee, but the rhythm of your thoughts, the quiet fears you don't always speak about, the emotional triggers shaped by your past. He pays attention not just to what you say, but to what you don't. He notices the shifts in your energy, the way your tone changes when something bothers you, the subtle moments when your smile doesn't quite reach your eyes. And instead of ignoring them or brushing them off as mood swings, he leans in gently. He doesn't push for you to open up, but he creates the space where you can freely, without fear of judgment or dismissal. When someone protects your emotional well-being, it's not about shielding you from every hardship or trying to make life perfect. It's about standing beside you through the mess, making sure that even in your most vulnerable moments, you never feel alone. He doesn't run when things get complicated. He doesn't roll his eyes when you're emotional. He doesn't weaponize your past or use your insecurities against you. Instead, he listens with patience, speaks with intention, and responds with the kind of kindness that feels like healing. He's careful with his words. He knows the power they hold. In conflict, he doesn't aim to win or to hurt, he aims to understand and resolve. He takes responsibility for his tone, his timing, and his approach. Even when he's frustrated or hurt himself, he doesn't use that as a license to lash out. He respects your emotional boundaries, honors your need for space when needed, and isn't threatened by your sensitivity. In fact, he sees it as something sacred proof that your heart feels deeply and that it deserves gentle handling. He's emotionally intelligent, not in the sense of being perfectly composed all the time, but in the way he takes accountability for how his actions impact you. He'll apologize when he's wrong without needing to be begged. He'll reflect, grow, and adjust not for show, but because he cares about how you experience life with him. You're not just someone he's with, you're someone he protects, even from himself. That's the difference between someone who wants to be loved and someone who wants to love well. You might notice the way he steps in when others cross your boundaries, the way he supports you in conversations where you feel unheard, the way he defends your name in rooms you're not even in. That's not possessiveness, it's protection rooted in respect. He doesn't tolerate emotional harm to you, whether it comes from outside or from within. And when you're having a bad day or spiraling in self-doubt, he doesn't offer shallow solutions. He offers presence. He sits with you, holds space, and reminds you of your strength without diminishing your struggle. He celebrates your wins, but he also holds you gently in your losses. He knows that emotional protection is about consistency. It's in the way he checks in with you, even when you pretend you're fine. It's in the way he encourages your healing, supports your dreams, and reminds you of your worth, especially when you forget it yourself. He doesn't see your emotions as problems to fix. He sees them as doors to deeper connection, and he walks through them with you, with humility and care. He also knows how to protect you from unnecessary chaos. He filters what he brings into your life, his stress, his baggage, his triggers, not by hiding them, but by managing them responsibly. He doesn't make you carry the weight of his unresolved issues. He brings awareness and effort into every interaction, constantly working to be someone who adds peace, not pressure. When you're around him, your nervous system feels calm. Your guard drops, not because you're weak, but because you feel safe. This kind of emotional safety is rare, and once you experience it, it changes how you define love. It's not about constant passion or flawless communication. It's about intentional protection of each other's inner world. And when a man chooses to make your emotional well-being part of his mission, He's telling you, without ever needing to say the words, that your heart is home.